A major state broadcaster recently aired a segment discussing medically assisted methods related to motherhood and nutrition. The program suggested that certain lab-produced substances may be presented as similar in function to natural nourishment. The broadcast has prompted discussion about how scientific and medical topics are explained to the public, and whether complex subjects should be communicated with greater clarity and care. In a broadcast that has stunned observers of medical ethics, the BBC presented a report that fundamentally challenges the understanding of infant nutrition. The segment, delivered with the sleek, high-definition polish of a standard evening update, featured a presenter in a poised red blouse backed by the glowing London skyline. But the content was anything but standard. Citing a statement from the University Hospital Sussex NHS Foundation Trust, the report amplified a controversial assertion that fluid produced by a transgender woman, generated through a regimen of experimental hormone therapy, is nutritionally equivalent to the breast milk of a biological mother. This segment did not frame the statement as a debate. It presented the claim with the weight of settled science, referencing World Health Organization guidelines to bolster the legitimacy of the procedure. For millions watching, this was not just a news update. It appeared to be a deliberate redefinition of biological standards. To understand the gravity of this assertion, we must look past the polished graphics and investigate the pharmacological reality. This process, known as induced lactation, is not a natural occurrence for the male physiology. It requires a rigorous and potent cocktail of pharmaceuticals, often including drugs like domperidone, a medication explicitly warned against by various health agencies for its cardiac risks, alongside high doses of female hormones to simulate pregnancy conditions. The evidence supporting the safety and nutritional equivalence of this induced secretion is alarmingly sparse. Critics point out that the claim relies heavily on a single isolated case study and WHO guidelines that prioritize inclusivity rather than long-term, peer-reviewed data on infant development. We are witnessing the endorsement of an experimental biological workaround, marketed as equal to a process honed by millennia of human evolution, without the requisite decades of safety trials typically demanded by Western medicine. The reaction to this broadcast was immediate, visceral, and overwhelming. Across digital platforms, the public response shifted rapidly from confusion to intense skepticism and mockery. Social media users, typically divided, found common ground in their disbelief. Where the broadcaster likely expected acceptance, they received a barrage of digital opposition. Commentators questioned the basic biological premise, asking how a physiology that never underwent gestation could produce the complex immunological profile of maternal milk. Others expressed profound concern for the infants involved, viewing them as unwilling participants in an ideological experiment. The sentiment was not just one of disagreement, but of a broken social contract, a feeling that the institutions charged with public health and information have abandoned biological reality in favor of political alignment. The ratio, a digital metric of disapproval, was catastrophic, suggesting that the public is no longer willing to silently accept medical claims that contradict their own eyes and understanding of nature. This incident represents a critical flashpoint in the ongoing cultural and medical conflict within the West. It is not merely about a single news segment. It is a symptom of a deeper institutional capture. When the National Health Service and the BBC, pillars of British stability, aligned to promote a procedure that lacks robust, multi-generational safety data, It signals a strategic shift from evidence-based medicine to identity-based affirmation. The skeptics arguing for caution are not merely being obstinate. They are asking the fundamental questions that science used to demand. What are the long-term effects? What is the nutritional composition? And why is the precautionary principle being abandoned? As the memes circulate and the outrage grows, the lasting damage will be to the credibility of these institutions. Once the public concludes that political objectives have superseded biological facts, the authority of the state broadcaster and the health service evaporates, leaving a vacuum of trust that will take generations to rebuild.